Good evening, everybody. Now, I'm just a simple man, and my name is Noah Foster, and welcome once again to another episode of 205 Live Matters. And this week we will be discussing, of course, this week's episode 205 Live that determined our Cruiserweight Championship match for Clash of Champions, and apparently an outlook for somebody on the 205 Live brand, and of course, much more. But before we get to all that, allow me to introduce you, of course, to my co host. He's a family man. He's a humble man. He's the holiday, and he's one of my best friends. Is of course Christopher Mace. Chris, how are you?
Oh, it's been a long day. Like I said, tea party this morning, then had a fun-filled adventure before I went to work, then went to work, and time to talk about wrestling and relax and call it a night.
I hear that. I mean, this whole week, my nights now are friggin' 6:50 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. anymore between working classes. Then Friday, I get home, but then I get invited to go out and go bowling. I suck, but I won one game, so I guess that counts for something. And yeah, but I digress. And yeah, it's good to be home too. The weekend, the one time I could actually record stuff and talk wrestling. Anyway, yeah. So with that, let's just go ahead and get right into it. So of course, this week's episode was aired on September 3rd, 2019. And this week we determined our Cruiserweight Championship match in a different matter, to say the least. First off, the show opened with, I guess you could say, the epilogue to the Roman Reigns Who Done storyline, the worst thing I've recently seen in WWE memory. At
Mm.
this storyline, you should have just made Roman Reigns versus Daniel Bryan already. But I digress. Anyway, we go into 205 Live, we go into Drake Maverick's office, and we find Drake Maverick and Humberto Carrillo and Lince Dorado. And we find Lince Dorado's basically giving his stance on why have I not had a Cruiserweight Championship opportunity? I've been here since day one. And apparently Drake hears that out, but Humberto's like, hey, I earned my opportunity. Because these two are supposed to face each other in the main event tonight of the show. But Drake Maverick raised the stakes. He said basically if Lince Dorado wins the match tonight, he is added to the Cruiserweight Championship match. This was kind of odd to me, considering I thought everybody, it's not about what you've done for me overall, it's what you've done for me lately. And Lince Dorado, he's had mixed fortunes, I would say. But I feel like this has been more influenced by Arya Daivari, which of course we'll talk about later. I mean, I'm kind of okay with this because you are furthering the storyline between the old school versus new school lucha libre style between these two, which of course we're seeing hash out 205 Live. But you're also adding another dynamic to this cruiserweight title match, allegedly, because Lince Dorado has been there since day one and has not had a single title opportunity yet. Interesting setup for the show, and it does give extra stakes to the main event. Makes you curious about, okay, who do I want to win this now? So I thought this was a very interesting opening. And then we go into our first match. And this was a three-match show tonight. By the way, crowd was red hot. Shout out to this awesome crowd who had a chance of 205 Live throughout the night. This is awesome and was behind the cruiserweights. Because 205 Live matters, whether you hate me saying that or not, I don't care. It matters as long as it's on the network, and I respect Cruiserweight Wrestling then now and forever. Simple as that. So, Chris Mace, our opening contest. And of course, we had, of course, our classic commentary team of Vic Joseph, Nigel McGuinness, and Anthony English. Probably my second best favorite trio in WWE commentary today. You can pretty much guess what number one is. Keyword, trio. Anyway, our first match was Tony Nese versus Mike Kanellis. And this was brought on via social media after Mike Kanellis said, hey, welcome to the bomb, man. Have a seat. So basically, Tony Nese has been questioning himself. What do I need to do to get back on track for the Cruiserweight title? What's next for me? This match was established via a little bit of poking the bear, per se, on social media from someone who's also had mixed fortunes, Mike Kanellis. I thought this was a very interesting match, though, overall, and we sometimes figure about should this close the show versus open the show, which we'll talk about later. But as far as an opening match, I thought this was pretty darn well done. And wow, did not see that outcome coming based on his current fortunes and booking. So, Chris, tell me through your thoughts on this match and the outcome and what you might see next coming from this before we, of course, get to the end angle where we know one person is going.
Well, like I said, the beginning of the show started off, like I said, with the whole Roman Reigns thing, and we had like, okay, let's get to 205 Live. We know what's going on with that. Then we went to, like I said, they're raising the stakes with everything. with Roberto and Dorito. Oh, I'm about to call him Dorito. Never mind, botched. But anyways, Dorito. And it was interesting because, they had their match before, and he purposely caused a double count out because he stopped Humberto from going back in the ring for the count of 10. So that was an interesting dynamic. So then when they pretty much raised the stakes, well, if you beat Humberto, you'll get in, you'll make it a triple threat. I found that kind of interesting. It's like, okay, so yes, you've been on a little bit of a roll here. You've been looking real amazing in some of your matches last few weeks. But you also have controversy surrounding you. Are you trying to, turn your back on the Lucha House Party? Is the bar finally gotten to you? What's going on? And so I just found it very interesting how they set that up. Now going forward, and we start off with the whole Mike Kanellis. Mike Kanellis finally back, which was interesting. I thought it was going to be more of a storyline where he's kind of, having to pretty much, talk to Drake Maverick, try to get back into good graces kind of thing because of what happened with that match. But no, I'm just going to call out Tony Nese on social media and just tell him that welcome to the bottom. Which I found that interesting because Tony Nese is not on the bottom either. He's still right up there at that top level. He just been going through a rough patch. They all do. Everybody wins, everybody loses. So,
yeah,
but this match,
champion too.
Yeah, I know. And this match was very, very good to me. I thought it was very entertaining. And Mike Kanellis winning with love hurts, as we call it. Like I said, I was really surprised he won. I mean, he needs a win, definitely. And Maria's still there watching in the back. You can see how happy and smiling she is, like, yeah, you ain't going to die tonight. You better win. No, you're going to die. She has those crazy looks, but that's some pregnant women. So I'm sorry, I dealt with pregnant women. So it's all right. Anyway, so Max Black was pregnant 3 times. But anyway, so, in the storyline, it's just interesting how they did that. And Mike Kanellis getting the win, I thought it was very interesting because it sets up other things for later on. But it was a pretty damn good match. I was really surprised how well it was.
Yeah, they put out all the stops here. I mean, Mike Kanellis, of course, showing aggression and frustration from the get-go. We had a hot start with super kicks and hard forearms. Tony Nese, of course, proving why he is the premier athlete. He did everything from the Frostberry Flop to a Bureau 450 splash, where you thought he was going to pick up the win there, but Mike Kanellis kicked out. I thought he had him there, honestly. Literally, the only thing Tony Nese didn't pull out was the running knees. I feel like if he hit that, he would have won. But as you said, we called Love Hurts the twisting face plant, neck breaker almost. And Mike Kanellis, Nigel McGuinness, and Maria were ecstatic. It was one of Mike Kanellis' singles victories all on his own. So is this the first step to rebuilding him towards the Cruiserweight title picture? Is he going to prove a point now going forward on 205 Live, not only to himself, but his wife Maria Kanellis, much to the happiness of Nigel McGuinness? And Tony Nese, he does fall further and further down that spiral of just not put together, a spiral of depression almost. And basically, he's becoming now the guy in that Mike Kanellis mindset and spot. How it would affect him? Well, we're going to find out later. But yeah, I thought this was a really great opener, and the crowd was in this match from the get-go. And again, Tony Nese put out all the stops. A lot of hard hits here. Great match by both. So moving on from there, we go into a backstage segment where we find Lince Dorado, and he's preparing for his match, and Ari Daivari, he asks him for a thank you. Because Ari Daivari believes he led Lince Dorado to go into Drake Maverick's office, give his stance, ask for the opportunity, and he would have done this without Ari Daivari's help. He's basically saying Ari Daivari helped him find new confidence in himself, and he doesn't need the deadweight known as Lucha House Party, Kalisto and Great Metalik. But apparently, Dorado, he's already at mixed terms with his brothers, or hermanos, and basically saying right now they want me to talk to him, but now I realize I shouldn't trust you. I should have listened to you. You're just a snake. Now I'm going to go find my brothers and try and clear things up with them. And when I win the Cruiserweight title, because I am going to win tonight, I'm going to throw the biggest Lucha House Party ever. So I wonder if this is just going to drop, or is this just a thing of further things to come based on the outcome of tonight's match and Sunday, which we'll get to soon. All right. Following this, we got Singh Brothers. They addressed Kendrick and Tozawa. They said they addressed their tapes. They addressed their in-ring action. They'll be back bigger, better, and ever with some lights, camera, Hollywood action. Not much more to say there. Honestly, it's kind of becoming an afterthought right now. The Singh brothers are. I gotta be honest here. And then we had a little bit of a squash match that foretold something to come, left us guessing on not only who's heel, who's turning face here, but what can happen next week. So, Chris, tell me for your thoughts on this little squash match between Kendrick and Tozawa and Scott and Hastings. The message that Brian Kendrick set and the challenge he made, and what do you think is going to happen next week?
Well, see, one thing, let me get to the other stuff real quick. The one thing you forgot that Davari said to him was that, man, I was the one who took Grand Metalik out. I did that for you. Remember, he did admit that he took Grand Metalik out.
Yeah.
So that just solved that whole mystery right there, too. They just kind of gave it away with him admitting right there, yeah, I'm the one who took him out, man. I did it for you. You know, and that was kind of interesting, him doing that. That's when he started bringing up man, that's why I should listen to them guys. I shouldn't trust you. I shouldn't even listen to you. Because he admitted to him that he was the one who took him out. So I thought that was kind of interesting. He just being a blunt heel. Hey, I did it. Okay, and what? Catch me outside. How about that? I don't care. Who cares? You know? So that's how he acted. That's the way his attitude was about it. I thought it was interesting. And then the Bollywood boys, the Singh brothers, whatever, like I said, they need to just get back in the ring and be entertaining. Like I said, they've been having some good matches. They've been very competitive since leaving Jinder Mahal, and like I said, now they're just doing skits. I don't want to see them do skits. Just get in the ring and do what you do best. Be entertaining, have good matches, and just be entertaining. I'm not worried about your backstage skits or you, Bollywood, all that blah, blah, blah. I ain't worried about all that no more. That got old like last week. So, but this squash match, I found this interesting. Okay, so it was supposed to be Brian Kendrick versus the gentleman Jack Gallagher. Now, we all know from watching NXT UK Cardiff or the NXT UK episode last week that he was there, promoting Cardiff, and he was there, supporting, the guys watching NXT UK Cardiff because he was also going to be supposed to have a match with Cash Ozono. So, spoiler alert for NXT UK, Jack Gallagher is out with an injury right now, undisclosed injury right now. So that's why he hasn't been on 205 Live. He was in the UK, and supposedly he got an injury. So we don't know what's going on with that. Hopefully he gets healed up soon, so we'll see. But that's why he hasn't had this match with Brian Kendrick yet. Right. So as a squash, like I said, for this quick squash match, it's like, okay, you're pretty much highlighting the Brian Kendrick and Kira Tozawa. Like I said, it was pretty much just a quick squash match so they can show how good they are and then get on the mic and talk about the gentleman Jack Gallagher saying, oh, you're not here again. Okay, well, next week, why don't you find a partner and you have a tag match between us? So I'm kind of wondering, okay, does this mean you two are going to turn heel? It's like, it's Tozawa just listening to you now about everything, because clearly you can see on video where Brian Kendrick got so happy the weeks ago in that match where he was hitting the ropes and that caused his foot. Seems like the gentleman's having a lot of issues between 205 and NXT UK with his foot getting knocked off the rope and losing matches that way, seems like.
Yeah, indeed. And keep in mind, next week, they're in Madison Square Garden.
Yes.
So they're going to try and pull off some big angle there because right now they're just trying to get Stone Cold on there because they're struggling with ticket sales, but that's a whole nother thing. I really hope it's not like a rehash either of 2009 with another picture, but I'll talk more about that later. And I'm very curious with Jack Gallagher, who could he bring with him next week? Could it be a surprise debut? Could it be somebody that we've already seen? I mean, it's true what B. Brian Kendrick says. Jack Gallagher, he really doesn't have anybody with him. So I'm very curious on this tag setup. This could set up a brand new team. And also, based on the outcome, we might finally see, is Akira Tozawa and D. Brian Kendrick going heel right here? Because, again, D. Brian Kendrick may have a plan. He seems to be playing more mind games, I feel like. And Akira Tozawa is just one looking out, it seems. But I guess we'll find out next week. And again, this was a typical squash match because we had two jobbers that got squashed. Simple as that. Moving on from there, though, we go backstage and we find only Lorcan being interviewed, how he's out right now of the Cruiserweight title picture. And as he was trying to give his thoughts, we find a very distraught Tony Nese. And he's like, hey, calm down, man. I've been there. Calm down. You've been there. And Tony Nese snaps, beats the deal out of him. You've been there. You've been there. You haven't been there. You haven't been there. Beats them all over the place till we find refs and officials bringing them apart. And at one point, it's like, get a doctor. So I feel like we're going to get Oney Lorcan versus Tony Nese very soon, if not next week. So, again, Tony Nese at his breaking point. Oney Lorcan got set up with another feud. What more can you say about this angle? Chris, got anything to add?
He snapped. That's what we've been waiting for. You've been seeing it. It's been building, the frustration. That's everyday human life. Everybody gets frustrated. They finally just snap. They got to let it out, and that's unfortunate. At the moment it happened with Lorcan, so that's going to set up this easy way to set up a feud. He's trying to be a friend, help Tony Nese, calm him down, and he just snapped and just beat the crap out of him. So that's going to set up, and I'm kind of interested in seeing this feud because these two guys can go at it and beat the crap out of each other. I'm ready to see this feud, actually. It's something different.
That's the plan. I'm pretty sure that's the plan, too. And then we went right into our main event after they said, Trust Jim is brought to you by Skittles. Who cares? But what a main event. This match went a good 17 or 18 minutes, and from the get-go, I mean, the crowd started off quiet as they were both challenging each other. Lucha Libre styles, old school versus new school. Humberto Carrillo, the faster, younger, more hungry superstar, in my opinion. Lince Dorado, the slower, more methodical, old school style. Until both men slapped the daylights or chopped the daylights out of each other's chests. Damn. More than once here, I might add. In exchange, this match was nothing but a match of kicks and chops and aerial offense from Lince's Dorado, more ground-based maneuvering, versus Alberto Carrillo's roll-through combination moves from the shooting star press to the moonsault to the arm drag, deep hip toss. And this was a very competitive match, but in the end, after extreme frustration, Alberto Carrillo thought that he had him at one point. Alberto Carrillo, he let anger get the better of him, and he got caught in a roll-up, further extended. He held down the leg, and Lince Dorado won, fair and square, clean in the middle of the ring. So now he has added much of Alberto Carrillo's chagrin. But we were not done there, because who comes out from behind? The champ, the Law, Drew Gulak. He beats the daylights out of Lince Dorado, and then Alberto Carrillo sees this, and he tries to go help him. But then who comes out here faster than I think he ever has before? Tony Nese. So it looks like, as of right now, Tony Nese and Drew Gulak, they are back together as a unit. So I wonder if this is a whole thing about future student momentum, former friends, better enemies, reunited, or is this a deeper psychological plan for Tony Nese to reinsert himself into the Cruiserweight title picture? Because you did see at one point when they did finish beating down both men, after exchanging one man for another with each other, we did saw Tony Nese glance up at that Cruiserweight title. I think there's more to this than meets the eye. And that's just my opinion. But it's official. We now have a triple threat match for the Cruiserweight Championship come Clash of Champions. And it is going to be Lince Dorado's first ever Cruiserweight Championship opportunity since being on the brand since episode 1, I might add, versus the current champ, The Law, Drew Gulak, versus the young up-and-comer, one person they've been strongly putting forward, finally getting his first opportunity, Humberto Carrillo. I think this is going to be a very extremely interesting match, but this is going to be a tale of two stories, in my opinion, because we know Drew Gulak has history of one man more than the other, but we also know how much Lince Dorado and Humberto Carrillo, they have significant history with one another, and I still don't think they're on mutual grounds. But regardless, I'll talk more about that next week, but we're going to talk more about the outlooks of those matches soon in tonight's Simple Stances. But before we get all that, Chris, your thoughts on this main event and the ending?
This main event was really damn good. Like I said, when these two were having a good match last time till they had that double count out finish. Yeah. Which, I was like, okay, everybody knows how big of a fan I am with double count-out finishes. They can watch other shows and see my rants on those. But at least in that storyline, it kind of made sense. He was trying to prevent Humberto from getting back in the ring. So that one, I kind of understood what he was trying to do. He was trying to purposely make sure he didn't get back in the ring so he didn't get a win over him. So this rematch lived up to expectations. Like I said, where is this blah, blah, blah. I keep wanting to call him Dorito for some reason. My bad. Dorita, good lord. Anyways, where has he been at? Like, pretty much, like I said, he has done good work with Lucha House Party, but that app was getting stale. Where was this man at in a singles run? This man has been on fire as of late. Where has this man been at?
Apparently,
This man has performed at an unbelievable high level. He has been very impressive and has surprised the hell out of me how good he is in the ring as a single competitor. So, you know what? I was not shocked that he won. Yes, does it hurt? Do I think it hurts Humberto? No, because like I said, he's getting built up, slow burn. You're going to win matches, you're going to lose matches. Do you think everybody they slow burn won every single match? No, they didn't. So, I mean, it was really well done. How he won was really well done. And it was a very good match. It was probably easily one of my top 10 favorite matches this year, easily, because of how well they did this match and how well it was done. Now, the aftermatch is what I find interesting. Was Gulak coming out there, and like I expected Gulak to come out there. You know, now he's getting kind of screwed here. Oh man, now I got two guys I got to worry about. So he had to go out there and show dominance right away. But for Tony Nese just to run out there faster than a speeding bullet, just run out there and come assist him, that's kind of surprising. It's like, okay, let's see how this plays out. Are you really joining Drew Gulak? Have you decided, okay, I'm going to join him now? Gulak's been right the whole time, and I've been wrong? Or are you doing it as kind of a swerve later down the road? Okay, all right, I'll pretend like I'm listening to Gulak here and do everything he wants to do. And when the timing is right, I'll go right after him. I'll take him out from behind. And I'll go right after that Cruiserweight Championship again and get it back. It's going to be interesting to see. They could go either way with it. Either way, I don't have a problem with it. Both of them being heels, being different, both being different and being more aggressive, they could be dominant. I could see both of them, if they ever got the opportunity, going after one of the sets of the tag team titles, because I think both of them at this state of their careers and how they're acting with both their characters, they'd be a formidable tag team to challenge for the tag titles later down the road.
Yeah, absolutely. And I wouldn't mind seeing them involved in the next Dusty Cup if that becomes a thing, or go after the NXT tag titles. Tony Nese, Drew Gulak, they have been a dominant unit since pretty much the inauguration of 205 Live. They've had ups and downs, but they've had great matches with each other and great matches against each other. So whether or not this short-term alliance is long-term or just a ploy, only time will tell. But I'm interested to see where it goes from here. And I'm pretty sure we'll get a tag match with both those men very soon. I don't think it's already been set up next week, I believe. I don't think it's been set up yet. I haven't checked the site. But I thought they did set up Tony Nese, Drew Gulak versus Humberto Carrillo and Lince Dorado, which would be extremely interesting, because Lince Dorado has been kind of overshadowed, basically, just looking at from the shadows from within Lucha House Party. We're now seeing him shine more as a singles competitor, and he and Humberto Carrillo, they have great matches and great chemistry, I feel like, too. And now that Humberto Carrillo had nothing to do with the assault, let's just see now if this is just a game of one-upsmanship. Whose style is more predominant? Which one can do it better? Only time will tell. But we are literally, next week is go home, Madison Square Garden, to Clash Champions. We'll see what happens. And that pretty much concludes this week's episode of 205 Live. So as always, let's go ahead and grade this week's show. I'm going to let you go first this week. On a scale of 1 to 5, how would you grade this week's episode of 205 Live?
I'm going to give the episode a 3.75. I'm going to give it an extra quarter for the main event, because the main event alone was 4.5 to me. But if I'm going based on the whole show, I'm going to do 3.75 and add an extra quarter for the main event because of how well done they did that. It was a good, lengthy match, but it kept you on your toes. You had a little bit of old school and new school into it of Cruiserweight Wrestling. It was very well done. So overall, I'm going to give it a 4.
All right. Yeah, I mean, again, you build a storyline going into the Cruiserweight Championship match and possibly another side epilogue coming out of it. You gave us a unique opener that led to this end angle, and you're actually building Mike Kanellis, it seems. I still don't know what they're doing as far as the tag team picture goes with the Singh brothers, Akira Tozawa, D-Brian Kendrick, and whoever Jack Gallagher picks as a partner. I gotta imagine it's going to be somebody from NXT UK, I feel like. But overall, it intrigued me, to say the least. And as far as Oney Lorcan taking on Tony Nese, I could see that being set up next week, honestly. So I thought this episode was pretty good too. Yeah, I agree with you. I'll give it a 4 out of 5. So with that being said, let's go ahead and fantasy book, discuss, analyze, and just have some fun with some simple stances. So I know we got a few thoughts on our mind tonight. Let's go ahead and start with what's on your mind tonight, Chris Mace. What do you want to talk about on simple stances?
You know, we keep talking about 205 Live needing a special show and stuff like that. And I'm really big on the history of wrestling and stuff like that from past pay-per-view events that they haven't used in a while. You know, why doesn't, since this 205 Live is the closest one to Halloween, do you think they would ever possibly ever make maybe a 205 Live special like a Halloween Havoc, for example? They could do a special 205 Live, kind of do the setup like a Halloween Havoc. They can do some kind of special event that makes it feel special. They brought back Starrcade. They brought back different things. But you know what? Why don't we do something special just for 205 Live and bring up some kind of themed pay-per-view or themed event like a Halloween Havoc? Or any other kind of concept they've used in the past. Why don't we bring some kind of special event or special kind of concept into 205 Live for a special event? What would your thoughts be on that, for example, say since 205 Live would be the last show before Halloween, for example, this year? Why don't, for example, what would your thoughts be if they ever tried to do something like that where they turned the old theme like Halloween Havoc that was very successful, had a very unique setup and everything like that, and gave it to 205 Live to do a special 1-hour episode with it or a 2-hour event with it, themed with a Halloween Havoc theme?
I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing that. Again, sometimes they literally put in gimmick matches or special type matches in the show itself. They literally treat the brand in its own special way once in a blue moon. So I wouldn't mind seeing some sort of a Halloween Havoc type theme idea going into that week's episode of 205 Live, even if it's just pumpkins around the ring using a freaking gimmick match between, I don't know, Singh Brothers and a new established tag team, and then you have a serious main event. But I feel like since that's deep into October, you probably want some NXT influence involved in that. Or maybe they can do something like that with the 2-hour special of NXT. But honestly, I wouldn't mind them just doing like a Simply Competition type special again during that time. But I think it's really going to come down to the outlook of 205 Live, whether or not they have more faces on the brand or they work more with NXT. Because again, we're going to be deep in October, and competition's going to be wild. Ready, wild, brother. But I wouldn't mind seeing something like that. Again, I would love to see themed shows and a special for 205 Live beyond just specially named weekly episodes. I wouldn't mind that at all. So just keeping it simple there.
But what would your idea be? What kind of concept would you like to see brought back just for the 205 Live?
Well, that's the thing. Brought back for 205 Live. I mean, they've pretty much done all I could think of at this point that fits their style. And I guess the only thing I can really think of is maybe some sort of ladder match. I'm not sure actually. It's an odd idea, but I don't want them to bring back obviously the Cage stick. I know they're not going to do anything with the set. I don't need to see a Halloween trick-or-treat gimmick match per se, because I know SmackDown Live or Raw is going to do that because I don't know, actually. That's one I really need to think about. What would your thoughts be on it, basically? What would you do?
I would try, if they're going to do a special, what I do, if you want to do something like, for example, I'm using Halloween Havoc because I brought it up for a Halloween season. That's my favorite holiday. Just let everybody know that. What I would do is if you're going to do some kind of Halloween Havoc theme, for example, my best idea would be you take that Worlds Collide concept that they did earlier this year.
Right.
And where you have like the NXT, the cruiserweights from NXT, classified as cruiserweight from the NXT UK, and 205 Live, and do a 2-hour special. And you pretty much showcase their talents and do different styles of matches. You can offer, like you said, a ladder match for like a #1 contendership. For the Cruiserweight Championship, for example, that hasn't been done yet, a ladder match.
Yeah, that's one gimmick they haven't pulled off yet on 205 Live. Imagine the dynamics that would bring, especially with some of these guys that are not afraid to go high.
So, I mean, you have...
not used yet on 205 Live at all.
No, I mean, you have other ideas. You could do different matches, or you could have this event as a special event where maybe you're deciding, okay, we're going to crown our first 205 Live Tag Team Champions, for example, and you could have a special event for that reason to determine new 205 Live Tag Team Champions that can defend their titles on 205 Live or the NXT brand or the NXT UK brand, because NXT and NXT UK has a lot of wrestlers that are under that 205 weight limit. That would be an interesting idea, and that would give it more exposure as well, going to different brands as well. Because you already have like the gentleman Jack Gallagher and Noam Dar that go back and forth to 205 Live and NXT UK, for example. You have wrestlers already that go back and forth.
Yeah, and you have some that are more stationed, it seems like, in the other brands. Noam Dar puts it, so. And then you have these other superstars that may not be so much used or really pulling together victories in one of these brands that come onto this brand and try their luck. So, again, I guess it really just comes down to wait and see. But at this point, I would just love to see like a ladder match or like tag titles introduced, or somehow like a tag team, a couple tag teams from 205 Live introduced in the next Dusty Classic, depending on when that happens. All right. Interesting thought, fantasy booking. Okay. I want to talk about cruiserweight title matches in general. So, excuse me. Tell I'm tired, not feeling well tonight, folks. I'm all right. Anyway, so I noticed something. You figure about all the cruiserweight title matches. Now, I know the one thing I stand by is 205 Live matters, and it does not belong on the freaking kickoff show. But I digress. I'm going to try and go PG tonight because, one, I'm tired, and two, I have a headache. Anyway, I think about the cruiserweight title matches we've had this year. There's been the singles, and then there's been the multi-men. When I think about the singles matches, like Tony Nese versus Arya Daivari, the Drew Gulak versus Oni Lorcan, and what happened at Elimination Chamber? Akira Tozawa versus Buddy Murphy, I believe. They got some good momentum behind them, but they never really got like the big pop, and I feel like they got the short end of the stick. But then you look at the multi-man type matches here, like Royal Rumble. You have the Fatal 4-Way between Buddy Murphy, Hideo Itami, Kalisto, and Akira Tozawa. You had the Stomping Grounds multi-person match between Drew Gulak, Akira Tozawa, and Tony Nese. And I felt like they not only got more time, they got more over with the crowd. So I want to see if you find it more as a strength or a weakness when you do more than just a one-on-one match for the Cruiserweight title, regardless of position on the card. Because, again, most of these matches this year, I think all of them pretty much, have been on the kickoff. But I feel like the multi-person matches, they get more time, and it seems to go over with the crowd because you're wondering, can this be it? Is this person going to win? Who's going to break it up? And it seems like each person matches has had unique spots breaking up pins, too. So, Chris, simple as that. Strength or weakness, singles match versus multi-person matches for the Cruiserweight title.
Which one do I think is better idea? I always like the triple threat match idea. I've always liked that concept because it adds the dynamic to the match where you could have somebody like I'm just going to throw a match together. Like Neville, like say if Neville and the gentleman Jack Gallagher from years ago. Okay, you had that match at the Rumble, if I remember correctly. I keep wanting to say it's a different event, but we'll say the Rumble right now.
You're right.
Okay, and so they're having a match and stuff like that. But what if we had added somebody else to the match? What if we had added like Gulak, for example, just they had somewhere along lines they were having something different with Gulak, for example. Let's add Gulak in the match. Well, would that match have gotten a longer time? Probably so. But why would it have gotten a longer time? Because you have three people, you have more storytelling, you have more dynamic of an interesting thing. You could have this heated feud with Neville and the Gentleman, but then you add Drew Gulak, that unexpected factor, because this wasn't the Gulak that we have right now. This is the Gulak who was still I think he was still doing the point presentations and all that stuff going on at the time. But he was still a damn good wrestler. He could have been the wild card in there. He could have been the one that, oh my God, what if he does win? What if he's able to roll up the Gentleman or be able to get a shock pin or be able to get the Gulak on Neville, for example. Oh my God, that would be crazy. Or what if he had gotten the Gulak on Neville and then the gentleman was able to do with his umbrella and jump off the top rope and be able to not break up the pin and be able to score the pin and win the title.
Right.
I mean, it adds a different dynamic when you do triple threat matches. Yes, you're going to have longer times because of the triple threat match. I mean, is it right? No, it's not always right, but logically, you're going to have a longer time for a match because you have three people, three different things going on, three different characters, three different wrestlers, three different dynamics. So it does take a little bit longer to build up a crowd and tell a story when you have three people. What they're thinking, their assumption is when you have the single matches is, okay, yeah, you give them 7 to 8 minutes, you've already been building up the show. They're thinking everybody in the world watches 205 Live, and we know realistically not everybody watches 205 Live. So they're thinking, okay, well, they know the whole story and everything like that. They can just get them out there 7 to 8 minutes, go ahead and have a match, and then they're trying to rush, hurry. And you could tell the difference between a pay-per-view match and when you watch on 205 Live, because a lot of the matches, unless they get a good lengthy time, I think the last good lengthy cruiserweight match on a pay-per-view, unfortunately I have to say, is one of the blood monies when it was Buddy Murphy versus Cedric Alexander for the cruiserweight title when Buddy Murphy won the cruiserweight title. That was a good match, and it had enough time to build up and get the crowd invested and everything like that.
Hold on, I will say this. That was not a Blood Money show, thankfully, from Culture Doctor. That was Super Showdown from Australia.
Sorry, you're right, but
that
wasn't Blood Money. I'm glad you corrected me. I was thinking for some reason like I said, they're all from, you're right. But either way, but they had a good lengthy amount of time in the match. They had time to get built up, get momentum, tell a story, get everything set up. That's the only exception. And they were on the main show. They weren't on the pre-show, if we want to remember, right, y'all? They actually got to perform on the main show. I can't believe that's a shocker, isn't it?
Yeah. And it got 10 minutes.
Like I said, so realistically, do I think it's right? No, but realistically, sometimes it's better to have a triple threat match because they're going to get longer time. They're going to have more time to build up the match and build up the story instead of being in a singles match where they're getting 7 or 8 minutes and 2 minutes of the match you're going, they're going, for example, okay, then Gulak is getting ready he's going on the top rope. What is he trying to do? Ladies and gentlemen, the main event tonight for this stomping ground or blah, blah, blah is Billy Joe Bob versus Bubba. I'm like, we don't care. We already know what the card is. We're already watching the show.
Yeah, but they got to everybody that's watching on YouTube or WWE or blah, blah, blah. And this goes back to what Tony Nese and Ali are talking about. We reach a larger audience because we're looked at on more platforms. Yeah, from a mute window, about a third of your match. Remember that.
And remember, you're losing about a minute of your match because they're advertising other matches during your match. And that does kill the momentum of the match for people watching at home.
Yeah, putting you in a forced rest hold, too. So, yeah, like I said, I just feel like when it comes to cruiserweight matches, they are better well-received when it's multi-person because I feel like they're given more time and they're interrupted less. At least that's what I can recall seeing. But overall, this is still one of the most looked-for matches I look forward to, as always. Now we got the concept of Drew Gulak and Humberto Carrillo, their past history, and the rivalry of old school versus new school, Lucha Libre, between Lince Dorado and Humberto Carrillo. And I'm sure Tony Nese, he probably won't be from too far either, so I'm sure he might get involved. There's a lot of different dynamics now I see with this match, so I am looking forward to it. A little more, I will say, than I was just the one-on-one, because, again, I feel like Roberto Carrillo too soon.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's go ahead and look at one more here from the community. Shout out to good brother Chris for this. So, as we know, the war is on, but we also know that's not till next month. We also know that the Raw, SmackDown, the Live products, they're constantly going through changes backstage, even if that doesn't matter because Vince McMahon still owns everybody and it shows for him. But apparently, they are supposed to be doing a full-fledged draft next month. So, good brother Chris proposed this. In case 205 Live got abolished, instead of absorbing the roster in just NXT and NXT UK, why not look at all the brands? And since we have like 12 actual superstars on the show, drafting up to 3, you said, per each. So I'm looking at the current roster here, and honestly, this might just go a little longer. But the roster that basically we will be dealing with in 205 Live gets, absorbed into WWE for whatever reason. You have to figure out a place for if they choose to keep him on. Akira Tozawa, Arya Daivari, Drew Gulak, Jack Gallagher, Grand Metalik, Humberto Carrillo, Kalisto, Lindsay Dorado, Mark Andrews, Mike Kanellis, Oni Lorcan, the Singh brothers, Noam Dar, if he could, well, I mean, he's already on STK, so probably just count him out. The Singh brothers, Levi Kendrick, and Tony Nese. So, honestly, I feel like that could be an own circumstance in itself, but if I were to book just three off the top of my head, I feel like it's pretty simple as far as Drew Gulak goes. The man has star power. He built it since day one. He was the most relevant, I feel like, even during Raw's dark time and the brand's dark time. And then you look at his matches from NXT. Honestly, I would love to see Drew Gulak push to the main event, and in a Daniel Bryan type feud, I would drive him to SmackDown Live. Now, as far as one for Raw, because I'm not going to figure up everybody off the top of my head as far as where I think they go, they're already using Mike Kanellis in this pregnancy angle with Maria Kanellis. I think it's overkill. I don't think it does anything for him. He started off on SmackDown Live. They did nothing with him in his feud with Sami Zayn. I would probably try Mike Kanellis. Maybe in NXT, maybe he and Kona Reeves, the finest, could actually do something together. Tony Nese, he's got power, he's got stamina, he's not a great promo. Raw, simple as that. Because Ricochet is basically that. He has great in-ring chemistry, he's a great aerial offense, but his promo skills are weak. Thus, you have great filler, but Vince wouldn't push him. And as far as NXT UK, I honestly want to see what Levi Kendrick could do there. So, because Jack Gallagher's already there, he could start a feud with him there. And you know what? Since I know Amir Jordan is injured, but maybe they could do something with him, change him maybe from face to heel, I would literally pair him with the Singh brothers and make a trio. So that is what I would do initially with the roster off the top of my head. Because we already know Lucha House Party, when Lars Sullivan comes back, they're going to get squashed. They're just going to go back on Monday Night Raw. And Alberto Carrillo, send him to NXT. I want to see him versus Angel Garza one-on-one. That is an NXT-worthy main event. And Drake Maverick, well, we know what he's going to be doing 24/7. Akira Tozawa, that's a tricky one because I would like to see him face Kushida probably, so I'd probably put him on NXT. And Arya Daivari, if they can push him with uber heel heat like they did with a person way back in the day with Undertaker, I can see him actually doing some great heel work on Monday Night Raw. So, off the top of my head, that's what I would do with the 205 Live roster. I couldn't necessarily do three for every brand because you can only fit so much on SmackDown Live with only being 2 hours. Raw, they do not have enough of a mid-card. They don't do enough with it. And NXT and NXT UK, they are looked at more for incredible wrestlers and wrestling action, not necessarily a strong promo. So those are just my thoughts of what I would do with the 205 Live roster off the top of my head. Chris, if you could figure out what you would do with the 205 Live roster based on who you know from the roster and where you think it would fit best, what would you do?
Okay, I got to pick three for each one, so Lucha House Party is going to Raw, so that solves that problem.
Yeah.
SmackDown's a little more interesting. I would put the Brian Kendrick, Akira Tozawa, and I'd actually put Humberto on SmackDown. I think with them three being on there, and then you having Buddy Murphy, and you having Mustafa Ali, and you having other smaller guys, you could build up SmackDown and have those great opening matches that can build a crowd up using guys from 205 Live. That would build the crowds up and get the crowds hot and going, just like back in the days of WCW when they did the Cruiserweight division right. So that's always been my philosophy on that. Going back to Lucha House Party real quick, the difference is I would actually have Lucha House Party go to Raw, but not be together. They all be single stars. Because Kalisto, like I said, he's been established as a single star for being a two-time United States champion. He can perform. If he has matches like he's had recently, he can perform still when he's not messing up and he's actually focused and determined like he has been as of late. He can put on some really damn good matches, and I like to see him back in the way. I keep wanting to call him Dorito tonight. I'm sorry, y'all. I don't normally do that. For some reason, I have Doritos on my mind. So, but like I said, he can go over there, and the way he's performing, he could perform well. He could face the likes of Cedric Alexander. He could face different people, big and small. He could perform and hold his own. And Granville League, like I said, he's very good as well. I think he could hold his own as well. And he's the bigger of the three, so he can hold his own, I think, more realistically with some of the heavier ones there, so the heavier wrestlers there. So I think that's the dynamic there with that. So that's why I just put them on Raw, but separate them. SmackDown already said. NXT. See, this is the hard part of NXT and NXT UK. So I'm going to do NXT UK first. I put Lorcan, Nice, and Gulak.
Okay, I would put Lorcan on SmackDown Live, actually, but interesting picks. Lorcan, Nice, and Gulak. Gulak hasn't met anybody from NXT UK yet. He hasn't even been on that brand, so it would definitely be an interesting dynamic to see him wrestle the likes of Eli Dragunov or Cassius Ohno or even Zach Gibson, for that matter.
I want to see him wrestle Walter.
Oh, God.
I want to see him. Look what, but now, hear me out, though. Look what Tyler Bate did with Walter recently. That was a phenomenal match.
Period.
That was a phenomenal match. But now look at this version of Gulak versus Walter. It would be a very interesting contrast of style, but it'd be a very interesting and entertaining match. If you really honestly think about it, the conflict, the styles, the size difference, this would be very interesting. You can imagine Gulak locking on the Gulak on Walter. That would be a very interesting dynamic there, to say the least. And this new version of Gulak, anything's possible. That's why I put him on NXT UK. I think you have a whole lot of better matchups and the new matchups, new opportunities. Same thing with Tony Nese. Lorcan, I know he's been on there before, but Lorcan as a singles wrestler being on there would be a very different. I would want to see him and Dragunov fight. That would be a wrestling match I want to see. I want to see those two boys go at it. So that's why I'm thinking NXT UK for Lorcan on that one.
All right.
Which doesn't leave me very many people left for NXT, does it? Lord. Who have I not used yet? And I just used Lucha House Party. Huh?
You haven't used Jack Gallagher or...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I put Jack Gallagher on there then on NXT then, because that would be something different to see too. Some interesting, maybe Gallagher and Kushida. That'd be an interesting matchup. I'd love to see.
Yeah, Mike Kanellis also. I mean, I don't think he's matched with NXT at all.
Yeah, but that'd be also a good choice too for NXT. Put him on NXT, and he let him go to NXT and change his last name. Let him be the Mike Bennett of old. Get rid of that theme song. Let him be the Mike Bennett of old. If you're going to put him on a different brand, put him on NXT and let him change his last name back to Bennett. That's his real last name is Bennett, not Kanellis.
Oh, here we go with the name change thing. Yeah.
But I like it though. I mean, it's different how they did it. They wanted to establish him as their own property. However, I think in NXT, everybody's going to know he's Bennett. Everybody knows he's Bennett now. So, I mean, just be real with the fans in NXT. And like I said, he could put on some damn good matches too. Let him have a match with Adam Cole. I think he had a damn good match with Adam Cole, baby.
I mean, look at Jordan Miles. He had one heck of a match. And Adam Cole, I think, put him over very strongly. Enough said.
Now I got one more. Who have I not said on 205? I'm missing somebody. I know I am.
Akira Tozawa, Arya Daivari, Drew Gulak, Jack Gallagher, Lucha House Party, Humberto Carrillo, not Mark Andrews, Mike Kanellis, Noam Dar, he's at UK, they're at UK, only Lorcan, Singh Brothers, the Brian Kendrick, Tony Nese. No, you got them all.
I didn't get the Singh Brothers, so the Singh Brothers have to do 4 and they have to go to Smack. They would have to go to NXT then,
That's
too.
What I'll say. The only place you would have them is NXT. And to be fair, NXT, they kind of do need some more heel teams in their tag team division. I mean, look what they did with Brazanga. They gave him Scott Steiner Sirens and a win. They're already just saying.
Yeah, they could have a few with Brazongo right now, and they could do other things, and they could get rebuild up. And like I said, maybe they're entertaining in 205 Live. I have to admit that, but maybe they could have more of a serious side to them and come out, be more aggressive. And like I said, that'd be the last. I'm like, really the Singh brothers in NXT? Hold on, but they could do something with it. But I think they make it
no
work.
Jinder Mahal needed.
Yeah, no Jinder Mahal necessary. No Shanti. None of that.
Auntie.
Yeah, well.
All right. Well, that was fun. And I'm going to write these down. I'm sure we'll remember these. And I know I probably went a little bit off radar, but what are you going to do? 205 Live, you know? And it's kind of hard to figure out 3-3-3-3. But, yeah, what would you all do with the 205 Live roster? Who would you let go? Who would you move? Let us know in the comments down below. All right. Well, that was fun. Thank you, good brother Chris, for that. I'm sure we're going to revisit this, too, closer to the brand draft. We'll probably change our picks. With that being said, let's go ahead and close now, as always, with the next on our list of top 25. For all of you who have been following, we have, of course, been picking up our favorite top 25 matches up to 205 Live for you to check out and view for yourself. Now, I believe we're on number 17, and again, I've been following since episode 1-ish. And, of course, most of my list is chronological. It wasn't until the top 10 that I was really fickle, but you'll see that soon enough. As far as this one, I thought this was pretty easy for me. I thought it was a pretty run-of-the-mill match. It's funny you brought up Super Showdown because that's where Buddy Murphy gained the title. I went with one of Buddy Murphy's first championship expeditions, not Humberto Carrillo. I went with when they went to UK, where he had his match with Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews is a guy, again, who I think could do a lot on the 205 Live brand, but we already know he's going to be stuck for a while now in NXT UK since he and Flash Morgan Webster, I still can't believe that happened, are now the NXT UK Tag Team Champions. Oh, sorry. Spoiler alert for those of you who have been living under a rock. But I thought this was a very nice, interesting dynamic. It almost put Mark Andrews, I feel like, in cruiserweight contention because this was a showcase match, to say the least. And, of course, Mark Andrews, he got all his hot spots in. I thought this was a fun match. Again, this is like mid-range on my list. I went with matches that I thought were just fun to watch. And, of course, seeing Buddy Murphy get spiked. It's incredible how he sells a DDT, whether it's in the ropes or off a Stun-Dog Millionaire or just in general. And, of course, Buddy Murphy, you know he won. But anyway, I went with November 7th, 2018, Mark Andrews versus Buddy Murphy. And it was the main event of that show, too. All right, Chris, what do you got?
Okay, let's see if you remember what style match they had. January 17th, 2017.
Ooh.
Daivari versus the Gentleman Jack Gallagher.
Oh, yeah. That was when they were having that feud. So what made you pick that one?
Do you remember what the match was stipulation was?
Oh, I forfeit.
Yep. Okay. Hey, I got to test you. You're the 205 Live guru since day one. I had to test you on that, see if you remember what style match was.
That is 205.
That's the only one I remember seeing so far. Because that's the only I forfeit match, which was a different kind. It's pretty much like an I quit match.
They rehash gimmicks on the 205 Live show itself. It's never the exact same name, but you're right. That's the only I forfeit match in the history of 205 Live, and that was also fun in itself.
And that was a very hard-hitting affair, and I love the storytelling there where he's getting one umbrella, he doesn't get to use it, gets it taken away, pulls out, he's like has umbrellas everywhere. He had at least 3 umbrellas, if I remember correctly, because I went back and watched this. This was entertaining. And then Daivari, like I said, hitting what is now his finisher now. Back then, it wasn't really. It was just a setup move, it looked like, because he hit it on the Gentleman. It's just the match, how it was. Like, come on, say you forfeit. Say you forfeit. Come on, let's do it. And Gentleman's refusing to do it. Then Gentleman finally gets the umbrella and puts him in, chicken wing. That's what it's called, yes. Chicken wing. I was about to say, I know it's Bob Backlund's move, and I was about to go brain dead for a minute, but... Like I said, chicken wing and with the umbrella and he finally gets the bar to say he forfeits. And I was like, wow, that was a very entertaining, different idea of how to do an I Quit match. And it was very entertaining. That's why it's on my list.
Yeah, and you don't see I Quit matches that often either. But let us know what you think down in the comments below, folks. What are some of your favorite matches from 205 Live? Have you given any of the highlights a chance? Have you looked at anything yet? Because stay tuned for more. Also, disclaimer, because I did hear this in the comments. Ladies and gentlemen, on NoDQ.com, this is uploaded in 360p. I cannot help the quality any better. You want to see this in HD, go to my channel. I will be getting a new webcam and mic soon. Simple as that. With that, Let us know your thoughts on anything we discussed tonight. Let us know anything you would like us to discuss, any questions you might have, any rebuttals, any stances you might have, whether negative or positive. We love to interact. And again, as long as it's on the network, it matters to us. Simple as that. With that, we are done here for the night. So thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in to another edition of 205 Live Matters as we are on our way to episode 50. Shout out to Finn Balor. And thank you, of course, to all who watched. Chris, a pleasure as always. And you know me, unless I'm in the hospital, I'm not going to stop this. And my stance will never change. Anything you want to plug, and where can people find you?
You can find me at Twitter at Christopher Mace. Sport Aftermatch Wrestling. Steph and Jerry do great work with What's NXT and NXT Party. Like I said, they do great work. They started doing What's NXT Live on NoDQ.com, so they got over 100 subscribers now. They got 14 in 4 days, so congratulations to them. They're over 100 now. Check it out. It's a great show. Sport Colin Andrews in the chopping block. He does great work there. Simple, short, and sweet videos. If you haven't seen the Bubbly video, check it out. It's the funniest 18 seconds you'll ever watch in your life. It is hilarious. Support Cindy G and all the work she does on her channel. Support Good Brother Chris. Support AEW Nation on Facebook. They got over 1,400 people right now, so they're doing great right now with their stuff. Support James and Owen. I always like to say James Owen like they're one person and they're two. James does great work with his shows, creating different wrestling events, everything like that. He works really hard on those. Those are some amazing things. You ever checked them out, they're amazing. Owen just posted his 2000th episode. Yes, everybody, I know it's a very long episode and it's 2 parts, but like I said, just take it with stride and watch it at your own pace. But he does a lot of work. He does a real good job with his stuff. He's very detailed and he takes his time, and that's all that matters because he is very passionate about what he does when he talks about wrestling. I will give him that. So, and I think that's about all I need to say right now because other than that, my brain's going to go brain dead again.
Yeah, I hear you. And like I said, between classes with digital audit design and 12-hour work shifts, I'm surprised I'm still awake, but and also my mouth doing dental work too. But anyway, blah. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. And as always, Chris, thank you for your kind heart, your words, your knowledge, and of course, fancy booking. Always a pleasure. Folks, if you want to know more about me, let me try and wake myself up. Fucking Mario. If you want to know more about me, know this. I'm just a simple man. And if you haven't figured it out by now, I am a lifelong fan of wrestling. So if you want to follow me and talk anything wrestling, WWE and beyond, NXT, AEW, Impact Wrestling, Ring of Honor, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Independent Wrestling, support Independent Wrestling, folks. Follow my civil YouTube channel here at youtube.com/user/Noah210, or follow me on Twitter, NoDQ.com/Noah. Takes to my Twitter page, or for those that hate URLs, at mfoster1916. If you want a subtle good morning and you want a little bit of a Thursday throwback to my times in wrestling or my walks in life, follow me on Instagram at mfoster1916 or just look up hashtag SimpleManInLife. It's a hashtag I literally own. And also follow my simple YouTube channel for more stuff regarding wrestling. There will be simple takes, summaries, reviews, predictions, and all sorts of other fun things in classified playlists for simple finds and pleasures for you. I'm approaching my 1-year anniversary on YouTube. Stay tuned. I might do a live stream Q&A on that. You can ask me anything wrestling or non-wrestling, whether I like Mountain Dew Code Red or Mountain Dew Voltage More, whatever is on your boat. I have nothing to hide. Go ahead. Ask me something. Beyond wrestling, whatever. Also, stay tuned. There's a lot of new content coming out of my channel. I might start a weekly series called Simple Summary, where I give my thoughts on what I watch in wrestling every week. Maybe as soon as tomorrow. But also, there'll be predictions coming up for New Japan Pro Wrestling Destruction in Kobe, Kokishima, and Beppe. Apologies if I screwed up those names. Ring of Honor, Death Before Dishonor, and I will be doing an AEW preview of the first episode where I'll be discussing my thoughts and predictions on the first episode, what I think of AEW so far, and who I think are top stars, because there's quite a few in my opinion. So if you want a casual, simple fans take on AEW, feel free to stay tuned to my channel more for that. Follow my Facebook group, hashtag 205 Matters, where we talk about Cruiserweight Wrestling, then, now, forever, and the 205 Live brand. And if you haven't figured it out by now, support No DQ. Buy a pen. They're the reason I'm in YouTube. Buy a shirt, NoDQ.com/shirts or merch. There's something for everybody. Name brand or just local brand. Support your favorite NoDQ personalities or just support the website. Forever indebted to Rick. Shout out to you, good sir. And follow NoDQ on all your social media platforms. Go make a friend, make an enemy, or control virtue on the official website. Your opinions matter. There's a comment section on everything. Polls, comments, memes, gifts, reviews, recaps, sexy female pics. You name it, it's there. It's wrestling, primarily WWE, with a little bit of independent wrestling, mostly AEW invading. And as always, I like to close. Support your wrestling outlets, both big and small, and support independent wrestling. And let's keep growing this incredible, diverse, unique, one-of-a-kind, negative/positive, always vocal wrestling community together. NoDQ and beyond. Simple as that. With that, thank you so much for everybody that tuned in. Like, share, subscribe, comment, hit that bell to know when the next video goes up, either on NoDQ or my Civil YouTube channel. And until the next video, whether it's 205 Live, New Japan Pro Wrestling, or next week, expect me to be with the Rated R board for our predictions on Clash of Champions as we once again go after the No DQ Predictions League Championship currently held by Son Goku. Coming after you, good sir. And again, until the next video, whether it's tomorrow or next week on my YouTube channel or NoDQ.com, thank you, everybody. Enjoy life, enjoy wrestling. Tomorrow's never guaranteed. Find happiness, find fun in the things that you love with those around you. And be civil, respect one another's opinion. We're all just fans of our own design. Until the next video, I hope you all have a good night.
Have a good night, y'all.
And remember, whether you hate me for it or support me for it, I say suck it to the critics, but keep it coming, because all you do is keep me going. To me, period, 205 Live matters. Always.
Indeed.
Funaki. Oh, man. Still, number one. Bye, everybody.
All right, have a good night, y'all.